Thank you for waiting, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to Computer Entertainment Association sponsoring Nikkei BP, jointly sponsoring Tokyo Game Show 2013, TGS Forum 2013, Keynote Lecture Session. Now, Part 1, Sony Computer Entertainment, or the world created by PlayStation 4, will be presented.
A brand new addiction. You like to shake it till the walls fall down. On the floor, glowing like an apparition. Stomping and screaming to the brand new sound. Don't it bring you to your knees? And you just do what you needed tonight. Party like shot when red. Get up and go. Get up and go. Get up. Keep jumping 'cause it's feeling never ends. Solid gold. Get up and go. Get up. Maybe I'm the only one. Or maybe it's the only night. So maybe while we're both still young, get up and go. Get up and go. Nothing matters as the music hits your feet. All the worry gets lost in the crowd. We got the sound so loud and so sweet. Oh, keep on shaking it for me. Oh, come and bring it to your knees. Ain't it just what you needed? Honey, like shine blue and red. Get up and go. Get up and go. Get up. Keep jumping 'cause this feeling never ends. Solid gold. Get up and go. Get up. Maybe I'm the only one.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Well, today, TGS, thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk at the keynote lecture. This is my first time to speak in Japanese in front of such a big audience, and please forgive me if I make mistakes in choosing words. Well, what we are going to do today is that I will first, in the world, the game consoles, what are the rules that they should be playing? Therefore, PlayStation 4 should deliver what kind of user experiences? And towards the end, recently announced PlayStation Vita TV, how the lifestyle and entertainment will advance. Those are the topics that I will touch upon, which will be followed by Ito and Yoshida. And they will include world's first demonstrations to explain PS4. Let's start. The evolution of consoles. I'd like to use this opportunity to the console, what kind of roles consoles should be playing in this connected world. Looking at the recent trends, especially from the perspective of customers, there are three major trends. One is, talking about consoles, it is for core gamers, but still, the people who are going after the latest games, there are more and more, like Activision, Black Ops 2. It was released in December last year, and for the first 15 days, $1 billion sales was achieved. And this morning's news, we might have looked at Grand Theft Auto 5. On the first day, very big sale was achieved. It is not a niche market anymore. At the same time, game consoles, probably the term itself is outdated because it is not only for games. Multifunctional overall entertainment device. Not only games, but through the network, all kinds of services are delivered. And excellent UI is one of the characteristics of these devices. Another trend is tablet and smartphone. Thanks to tablet and smartphones, this has created a very new market for games. Therefore, those users are more connected. They are asking for more social experience, more connected experience. The last trend is that the increase of free-to-play games and also increase in download content. Digital shift is occurring. Based on these backgrounds, what are the elements that are required of the next generation game machines? Other than the PlayStation 4 announcement, people who are going after the latest games are important users. However, consoles positioning as a centerpiece of the living room in a home environment, not only that, it has to be better UI than other devices for delivering network content. From children to adults, every family member can enjoy that, which has become important in the social media, all kinds of genres. The social functionalities have to be enhanced. From these points of view, we developed the PlayStation 4. 1994, first console, and then other TV games, evolving computer entertainment, especially the spread of PlayStation 2. I think that was one of the missions, that is, game used to be regarded as just a toy, but just like movies and music, And we have created this mainstream road for games. After PlayStation Network, 1.5 billion accounts have been registered already, which shows great growth. And next generation machine, which is PlayStation 4, new functions and new services enabled, and great evolution have been achieved. This is PlayStation 4's vision when we started developing PlayStation 4. Of course, PlayStation 4 is a best-in-class level of game experiences to be delivered. Core gamers who, after such experiences, more immersive graphic performance will be, of course, delivered. But at the same time, PlayStation users, since we would like to deliver the experience which can be only realized in this connected world, there are two approaches for that. First, smartphone and tablet, you can access games anytime from anywhere, and also unprecedented way to connect users through games. Of course, for all the game developers, we would like to provide strong tools for the inspiration. Consumer-focused development experience is what we call it. Therefore, PS4 Connected US is the basis of this. That is, world of games and the users are always connected in this experience. Every time you start up PS4, you encounter something new. Therefore, it will expand the joy of the games. And PS4 delivers information which is personalized to a single user. Personalization is important. Movies and video, and PS4 will make it very fast. And through an excellent UI, you can enjoy the content very comfortably. So far, we've been talking about this in many occasions. Of course, responding to the core user's expectation is important, but the potential of PS4 is not limited there. Several generations of console. One of the strengths of the game is that enjoyment is provided, not virtual, but in the same room, or dancing game, karaoke game, or party games can be enjoyed in the same room. This is one of the strengths of the games. As you saw earlier, the elements required of the next generation machines, the third item, shared experience, SCE, is focusing on this as well. Social, online, and virtual. Of course, those are very important playing styles, but one of the attractiveness of the game is that to spend the time together with your loved ones, families, and friends. You'd like to spend time with your friends and family members. This is universal. Japanese game software developers and world games software developers in the world, let's create this type of experience together with us. I talked about the customer's perspective, but from the point of view of development, there have been some changes there as well. In game development, for me, there are two trends there. One is improvement of a high quality of the development, and also the scale is becoming bigger, and also the emergence of a small-scale development teams as well. Well, game industry will become more similar to the Hollywood or movie industries. Hollywood would employ new actors, and also very diversified, also ranging from big ones to very small indie films. Based on this background, one of the important targets of the PlayStation 4 is the ease of development and also very flexible business model to be provided for small teams, like development incentives, and even a small team on a PS platform. They can publish their games and also free-to-play games. Good environment to be created for that. For each of them, PlayStation 4, we would like the largest number of developers to feel easy to develop on this platform.
So we have attained agreement from many of the developers, including the indie developers. And so there are about 500 firms, or that number is increasing now to about 620 firms who are offering these games. And so we have to meet the expectations of the developers. That is in the DNA of PlayStation. We also want to be able to provide that social element. And so from the first date of the launch of PlayStation, we had already had this network connectedness. And we have to look at the situation where you can have shared play with your family members and your friends as a shared experience. And then we will also have social continuity with the PlayStation system. So we have 4 pillars in the PlayStation, and we would like to discover new types of players for the games. And our plan is to sell 5 million units of PlayStation for the year 2013. And so I also like to touch a little on PlayStation Vita TV. Last week, from Sony Computer Entertainment Asia, we made an announcement of a new type of entertainment, a PlayStation Vita TV, and we are very pleased with the very good reaction that we received for the announcement. And so I think today I would like to respond to some of the questions you might have with regard to Vita TV. Now, I can say that there are 2 important points. So the first is that it is a very small box. In other words, it will fit in any living room because it is a very small footprint. And you could receive a video service, a karaoke, and even electronic books, etc., which can be enjoyed on a large screen. And from the very first day of the launch of this system, there will be over 1,300 game titles available, and there will also be updates to the system, and so that it will be used for the network recorder and media storage. And what are our target users? Of course, this was created for the fans of PlayStation. We have very excellent remote functionality. However, we also want to target very casual game users as well as family users. So there's access to 1,300 titles. And then even with newcomers to these games are made available over the network at a very low price for the new game players. And as we have already announced, we are going to be providing some cloud-based service in the USA in 2014. And this will allow the cloud usage for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, and Vita. That means that PlayStation Vita TV could also become an important client to the cloud service. Now, we will be making announcements at a later date as to when we will be launching this cloud service. And finally, if I may just summarize, we will be responding to the expectations of the core gamers, but we want to provide other forms of entertainment other than a game to the family members, and we believe that that is essential to the further development of the game industry. And we want to create this enjoyable world along with all of our gamers and developers. And we look to you for your further cooperation. And so next, I'd like to give the microphone to Mr. Ito to continue with the presentations. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you, Mr. House or Andy. And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me introduce myself. I am in charge of the home console business at Sony Computer Entertainment. My name is Ito. And today I would like to speak about the world as to be created by the PlayStation 4. And I will be introducing you to some visions which will be presented for the first time today. I joined CE in the year 2000, and I've been involved in her PS2, her PS3, and PSP development. And from that experience, I can say that there are 2 points that we regarded as being important for the development of PS4. One is user-friendliness and developer-friendliness. User-friendly means that it should be offered at an affordable price, and it should also be made available with the kind of games that it is requested and demanded by the users. And we want to make sure that it will respond to the changes in the lifestyle. So at the outset of the development, we have seen that there are already changes being seen in how games are being played. In other words, the people are not staying at home in the living room to play games. We are now seeing the use of smartphones and tablets where social games are being played outside of the home. And so we try to look at how we want to position PlayStation in such an environment of changes. And our response to that was that we need to present an immersive game experience, which is in the DNA of the PlayStation games. But in this world, how do we then bring this world easily to outside the house? And how do we get a better linkage with all of the devices and the systems that we have? Now, I will be touching upon this later in my presentation. And we also looked at how can we provide a development environment which is most friendly here to the developers. And so we are working with Mark Sunny, who is a top creator, and he has an excellent track record as top creator. And not only that, he has a lot of experience in hardware. So he knows what is needed in the hardware, which will realize the demands of all the game developers. And he has an excellent network of programmers throughout the world, so that he was able to create an excellent team all over the world of being able to provide the answers to these demands. And so this is what we came up with. We use PC architecture, but we also use the CPU-based CPU and GPU chips, which will make it more affordable to the users. And one thing that was said to be very important for the developers was the use of the memory, GDDR5. We had been originally looking at a 4 gigabyte memory, but the developers requested that they wanted much more memory for a better user experience, and that is the reason why we decided to go with an 8 gigabyte memory. And with GDDR5, which has a very high-speed processing power, then we are able to use the GPU at a very high bandwidth of 176 gigabyte per sec. And this will allow for games which is very rich in expression qualities. And so with that, the game creators are happier, and we could create a PS4 which is most suited for the game developers. And this will allow many games to be offered for her PS4, and that will then in turn make the gamers, the users happier. And of course, games are designed by very large-scale licensees for PS4, and also from our worldwide studio. At the time of the launch of PS4, we believe that we will be able to accompany that with a large number of titles. But in addition to such titles, we also encourage the indies developers to offer games for PS4. And as was explained earlier, with the PlayStation platform, when we have the developers making titles for her PS4, we create an environment that is friendly to the game providers, and we are also having a program to assist the developers, especially indies developers, so that they can design products for her PS4 as well as her PS Vita. So for the indies, they have the freedom of production, and that they also have the freedom to be able to launch products anytime they want, and they could also choose the platform freely. And so SCE will always try to heed the opinions of these indies developers, and we do hope that there will be many more titles available from the indies developers in the future. And as a platform holder of SCE, we are grateful that we have the interest of the indies developers. Now, I would like to show you one of these titles developed by an indies developer. Did you like it? So we have very many titles and have very attractive titles for PS4. So you can look forward to what we will have as a lineup. And with her PS4, we also have a new controller called a DualShock 4. In her development of her DualShock 4, we also had much help from the developers. As you can see here, putting DualShock 4 against DualShock 3, they look very similar. However, if you hold them in your hands, you will see how easily DualShock 4 fits into your hands. And the developers as well as the testers who tried out the new format, they had spent many hours to come up with this form. And we tried to see if we could add some new functionality to DualShock 4 following the line of DualShock 3. We have a share button, which means that using this button, you'll be able to upload your games through SNS very easily. And so this is one of the user-friendly functions that we incorporated into the DualShock 4. And so with this new button, we now have combined the start and select button into the option button on the DualShock 4. We also have a touchpad. This is a capacitive type of touchpad which is able to detect 2 points. And this will allow a very efficient way of managing and controlling the games. And creators and users will then be able to enjoy a broader range of input format with this touchpad. And on the right-hand side, we have what is called a light bar, which is designed for DualShock 4. And this means that if you have multiple players playing at the same time, you can then distinguish the controllers by the colors of the controllers. And we can also create different colors depending on the scene of the game. So if you are no longer having too much power or running out of power, then it will start to flash red lamps. And so with this light bar, this will broaden the scope of the game. On the left-hand side, you can see that there is also a jack for inserting the headset on her PS4. And on top of the PS4 button, there is also a speaker so that you can create some sound effects as a result of that.
はい、ここからはですね、今までここまで説明してきましたハードウェアを使って我々がどのような
Now from now on, I would like to show you what kind of user experiences we can provide. These are 5 principles. I have already talked about them, but based on these 5 principles, we have created PS4. For example, immediate, in the past, when you have to start a gaming, you have to wait a lot. When you have to do downloading, you have to spend a lot of time. So users can build up their frustration. That's what we thought. Therefore, we decided to shorten the downloading time so that we have decided to give a function to downloading while standby. And for downloaded contents, before completing downloading, players can enjoy playing the game. So we try to mitigate the stress and frustration which users have felt before. Under social, as I said earlier, we decided to use a share button so that your play images can be set up and uploading to SNS. But your image could be written on the external storage. These are big voice of users. Then for PlayStation 4, we decided to use HDM to write into external memory, and the introduction of this feature will be announced later on. As for integrated, under PS4, you can enjoy networking services, but in the past you had to have a unanimous ID, but in PS4 you can use your real names. But please do not misunderstand this. The real name registration, let me go a bit deeper. Basically, so far, PSN ID can be available under PS4, but the reason why we decided to introduce real name registration is that we would like to encourage light users to join our world, and the casual users do not mind using unanimous name, but light users, when they receive a request for friend, do you think they will accept that quickly? I don't think so. I receive so many requests, but unless you know who they are, you cannot approve. Therefore, for light users, they are hesitant in going into the online gaming. But when you start using real names, then you are actual friends. You can send a friend request with your own name, real name, and you can identify who is sending this request. Then you can approve this request. So for light users, they will find it easier to go into online gaming. They will see lower hurdles to go into. Well, of course, it's an option. You don't have to register your real name. You don't have to exchange the names. But we wanted to expand the user base. That's why we decided to introduce the real name registration. And under personalization, we have PlayStation camera in our PS4. With this camera, you can not only use it in gaming, but you can do the face recognition and voice recognition for homemade PlayStation knock and start. If you enter them, then you can start knock with this very simple maneuver. So not only the evolution of hardware, we are providing the use case for PlayStations which are suited for each user's lifestyle. So I'm sure we'll be able to provide you experience much deeper than you would expect. We would like to add new features and functions so that we will never stop evolving PlayStation into the future. Now, I would like to show you actual demonstrations to talk about PlayStation. First is PlayStation app. This app is required to do the device connectivity. Android and iOS mobile devices, you can start the connectivity among devices. Users outside their home or office, you can participate in the gaming. App is required to maneuver the gaming, but it could be used as a second screen. Let me show you actual demonstration. I would like to call upon Mr. Yoshida from Worldwide Studio. He is present. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Yoshida, and I would like to show you PlayStation app. The person in charge of camera, would you come onto the stage? By using this beautiful Xperia Z1, I would like to show you a demonstration. It doesn't have to be the latest version, but first of all, what's new? I would like to show you. What's new? User friends activities can be shown on the screen. Fabrice has bought Killzone, and there will be a multiplayer invitation sending to you. Naomi and the Killzone is involved in broadcasting and you can go start the Ustream or Nico Nico and other applications and broadcast PSO. When you start share button, what's new and activity of friends is shown. And also, in addition, Twitters and Face link can be established. Suppose you have in famous second son, if someone says I like it, you can look at it. And going on to topics, it's a PlayStation official information is shown. NAC banner is touched, so CJA NAC page is coming, and you can check a variety of game information. Next, at the lower left, connect to PS4 button is there, and smartphones and tablets, when they are connected to PS4, they can be used as a game controller, and they are generally called a second screen. So camera shutter exchange, it's a playroom, airbots. So the using hands, you can have the interaction and the characters. So that it is pre-installed in the so that DualShock 4 and PS4, you can enjoy different new type of games. Let me connect my smartphone. I say connect. It's connected. It's already connected. And this one, it's a drawing software. Let me draw for this scene. Let me draw a neck. I have practiced how to draw it for this purpose. A red eyebrows are very unique to neck. Here you can see this character is included in this. Suppose we have a ball and balloon. They are all included like this. Depending on the game, you may have to have a dedicated application, but it is very easier for PS4 developers to use second PlayStation app, so that users do not have to install special software. But as long as you have PlayStation app, you can enjoy this kind of experience. In addition, at PlayStation app, you can access to PlayStation Store, and you can confirm your trophy information. You can do the chatting, and you can receive multiplayer invitations. No matter where you are or wherever you are, you can connect to the PS world. iTunes App Store and Android App Store, you can download this. That's all about the PS app. Thank you, Mr. Yoshida. Thank you. Well, I have the other demonstration, which is the very first given to you in the world. PlayStation and PlayStation Vita TV remote play. One of the big features is the remote playing capability, so that from PS Vita you can access PS4 remotely to enjoy games. This remote play was announced last week, which is supported by PlayStation Vita TV. Now I would like to show you a remote play demonstration using PlayStation Vita. What you're seeing on the gray is a NUC on the PS4. you are playing a game in a living room. As you know, NUC is a lead system architecture Mark Sony has created, and also SP Japan Studio has created a variety of titles. But this is what you are seeing is the very first title. Downloaded version of NUC, a special package, is included in PS4. So while you were playing, my wife came in because she had a TV program she wanted to watch, and she wanted to use the TV set in the living room. Of course, with your wife's request, you have to give up. But in such a situation, I have a PS Vita TV, so I pause this game and I move to my own room and restart the gaming. And this is PS Vita TV system soft. As you may know, with a DualShock, you can easily move these items. System software and applications, they can be described in buttons and sticks because we wanted to have the same capability for PS4. We start the application, a remote play is set and connect. As you see, once you have PS Vita TV, once the device is registered beforehand through home network and internet, you can connect. Through internet, you have to consider bandwidth and latency. But in a home network, I don't think you'll have any trouble connecting. Then you can continue your PS4 NUC gaming. Today, since it's under development, we are playing this one under DualShock 3. But when Vita TV Remote Play officially is supported by DualShock 4. So PS4, the sense that you can do whatever you do with PS4 with Vita TV. So you can continue gaming, but time is limited. I don't think I can go forever. PS Vita TV, PS4 system software can be used, and cameras and sounds. With the exception of camera and sound, you can use other system capabilities. This is the end of the demonstration. Thank you, Mr. Yoshida. Thank you.
So thank you very much. The time was very limited today, but we were able to show you some of the functionality of PS4 today. And today we have shown you still as a technical demonstration, which has not been completely developed. However, we are doing our best to make sure that these will be available at the time of the launch of PS4. PS4 can be linked with PS Vita TV, and smartphones and tablets. And these will allow you a very new experience of entertainment. And so PlayStation is trying to create a very exciting world for all of you. And I hope that through the demonstration, you are able to have a glimpse of what will be made available. And so we have been working on many of these projects, and we believe that SCE will be one important member of the gaming industry, and we hope that we will be able to give further contribution to the gaming industry. We know that the world of gaming industry is changing, but we believe that with SCE's PlayStation, we'll be able to offer you a new type of entertainment, and it is a challenge and task for us to see what can we create with our PlayStation. So no matter where you are in the world, you can always enjoy the world of PlayStation inside the house and also outside the house, and then enjoy this with your friends and colleagues as a joint entertainment. That is the kind of fun world that we hope to be able to create. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. And Tokyo Game Show will be starting today, and we will be showing PS4 and some of the some titles which will be launched in the near future. So please come to our booth to get a taste of what PS4 has to offer. Thank you very much for your participation today.
ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much for your presentation. So that brings us to the conclusion of the first keynote speech. And after a short break, we will now be starting the second part of the keynote lecture.